Good morning, everyone. Happy Thursday. It's a little cold and foggy outside, but it's still a great morning to get a lovely workout in. So we'll go ahead and get started today. We are going to be doing a total body strength, and all we need to use today is a set of dumbbells. So if you want to grab a pair of dumbbells that you can lift about 8 to 10 reps with, that's what I recommend today. So if that's 10 pounds, wonderful. If you want to go a little heavier, feel free to do that. I want you guys to push yourselves a little bit more each time we work out together. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to show the workout for today, and then we'll go ahead and get started. So let me know if you guys have trouble seeing me. I can always move. Actually, you know what? We're going to go this way. This lighting might be a little bit better. Can you guys see me a little bit better now?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. The lighting in my apartment is a little tough to work with, so got to work with what we got. So what we're going to do today is we're going to alternate between upper body and lower body exercises. So today, starting off, we're going to do alternating overhead presses. So we're going to have the dumbbells here right above our shoulders, and then we're going to alternate each side. So we'll press up with one arm, back down, the other arm, and back down. So we're just going to alternate between our arms, and we're going to do 10 reps each side. And then from there, we're going to go ahead and do reverse lunges. So it's kind of hard to see from that angle. So for the reverse lunges, we are going to be holding the weights at our sides, and we're going to be alternating, stepping back one leg at a time. So letting that knee track past our second toe, heel, big toe, little toe on the ground, pushing through the glutes there. And then we're going to go ahead and go back to our upper body, and we're going to do bent over rows, but we're going to alternate between each arm. So feet are going to be shoulder width apart. We're pushing our glutes back like an RDL, closing that door. And then we're going to pull the dumbbell towards our belly button. So we're going to alternate each arm one at a time. Again, 10 each side is our goal. And then we're going to go back to our lower body, and we're going to do our kickstand RDL. So we're going to plant one foot on the ground. The other foot's going to be just kind of hanging out like a kickstand. And we're going to bend back, keeping that knee slightly bent, but we're not bending at the knees. We're pushing those hips back, closing that car door, squeezing the glutes, and coming back up. So we're going to do 10 on one leg, and then we'll switch over to the other side and do 10 on the other leg. And then we're going to go ahead and move to the ground. So we're going to put this here so we can see. I'm going to turn this light on. Oh, that didn't work. So we're going to start off with single leg lowering. There we go. Oh, look at that. It's light in here again. Okay, so we're going to do single leg lowering. So then we're going to be on a rack, legs in the air, and we want our low back plastered into the ground. Heels are going to be flexed. So we want the bottom of our feet pointing towards the ceiling, and we're going to lower one leg at a time, squeeze the abs, and bring our leg back up. So alternating between legs, 10 on each leg. And then finally, the last one, we're going to do our toe touches. So you can do these with your dumbbells, or you can do them with no weight at all, whatever feels best for you today. But laying on the back, feet up in the air still, bringing our hands, tapping as close as we can to the toes. And we're going to go ahead and do 12 to 15 of the toe taps. So everything we're doing today is going to be 10, but then the toe touches, we're going to do 15, okay? So we're going to go ahead and get started with our warm-up. So we're going to go ahead, make our way to the ground on our hands and our knees. And we're going to start off with some quadruped rocking, but we're going to add in that adductor stretch. So hands and knees, hands below the shoulders, knees below the hips. But we're going to go ahead and stick one leg out like a kickstand. So kind of like what we're going to do for our RDLs. Heel, big toe, little toe on the ground. And we're going to rock back, hold for a few seconds, squeeze the glutes, and return to that original position. So rocking back, feeling that stretch on the inner part of our thigh, squeezing the glutes, and coming back up. We want to make sure our core is also engaged during this to help keep our back nice and flat. We're going to go ahead and do one more. Then we're going to switch over to the other side. So other leg straight out to the side like a kickstand. heel, big toe, little toe on the ground, rock back, glute to heel, hold for a second, squeeze, and return to starting. So this is really going to help get our core warmed up, our hips warmed up, our adductors a little bit more warm. And let's go ahead and do 2 more here. And last one. Awesome. So the last thing we're going to do is we are going to do just a couple bird dogs or quadruped opposites. So same position. We're going to extend one arm. So opposite arm, opposite leg extends out. And then we're going to place the knee and the hand back, and then opposite arm and leg, knee back. So we're going to alternate between the two. We're just going to do about 3 to 5 on each side. We want to make sure that we're keeping our core engaged so that our hips are straight down. We don't want to be opened up here. We want our hips pointed straight towards the ground. So we have those headlights on our hips, and we're squeezing the glutes to extend. All right, let's go ahead and do one more on each side, keeping that core nice and tight. And last one. Perfect. So now let's go ahead and stand on up, and we'll go ahead and get started with our circuit. So starting at the top, we got our dumbbells. Got one in each arm. We're alternating alternating overhead presses. Dumbbells are going to be right above the shoulder. We're going to press each one at a time, alternating overhead. So we want to make sure that we're keeping our elbows just slightly below the shoulders, and we want to extend all the way up. So we're coming down. Dumbbell's going to be about 1 inch above the shoulder here, so we don't want our elbows below the shoulders that much, just ever so slightly. Then we're going to squeeze through the shoulder, press the dumbbell overhead, keeping our wrists nice and tight here. Core is engaged, back is flat. 10 on each side.
Make sure my big belly isn't sticking out. My goodness.
Oh my goodness, you are not sticking out yet.
Oh my goodness.
You look wonderful. Ugh. One more each side, you guys.
Look it in.
Gotta be nice to yourself. Okay. So once we do our 10 on each side, we're gonna go ahead and go into our reverse lunges. So we're gonna be whichever leg you want to start with. We're just gonna alternate between the two, doing 10 on each side. So dumbbells are holding them by our sides, stepping back, letting the knee track past the second toe. And we want to make sure our heel, big toe, little toe on the front foot are all touching the ground, and we're pushing the ground away from us. We want to make sure we're driving through the glutes, squeezing all the way up. Keeping our whole back nice and flat, using that core. Great job, you guys. Oops. Make sure we're keeping our balance here. We're going to go 2 more on each leg. And 1 more each side. Wonderful. So when we finish all of those, we're going to go ahead and do our bent over, one arm, or alternating rows. That's a mouthful. So we're going to have feet shoulder width apart, hinging at the hips, just like an RDL. So we have that weight straight out in front of us. We're going to squeeze our shoulder blades together and pull the dumbbell towards our belly button. So we want to make sure that we're letting those hands glide all the way across the thigh here, because we want to make sure we're activating the lower part of our back and we're not shrugging the weight up. So we should have a nice 90-degree angle in the elbows, and our hand is going to be near the glute here. So that's going to really allow us to activate our lats here and get a better movement, because we really want to activate those lats, because we tend to have overactive traps when we tend to sit at our desks all day. So this will help combat that. And we're going to go ahead and do 2 more on each side. Last one here. Awesome. Great job, you guys. And when we finish our 10 reps on each arm, we're gonna go ahead and move on to our kickstand RDLs. So we're gonna have all of our weight on one foot and the other foot is just kind of hanging out there like a kickstand. So I'll show you from this angle. So I'm using my left foot first. All the weight is in my left foot. My right foot is just here for support. We're not putting any pressure on that opposite leg. So we're gonna push the glutes back, squeeze, and come back up. So from the side, closing that door with your hips, squeezing the glutes, and coming back up. So all of our weight here is on our working foot, not the foot that's out to the side. We're focusing on one leg here, pushing the ground away from us, squeezing the glutes. Keeping our back nice and flat, core is engaged still. And we're gonna go ahead and do 2 more on this leg. And last one. Wonderful. So when we finish our 10, we're gonna go to the other side. So again, same thing. So now I'm using my right leg. Left leg is just hanging out like a kickstand. We want our toes to be about the same place of our the arch of our foot, just out to the side. So all the way is over our working leg. We're gonna bend back, squeeze the glutes, and come back up. So we wanna make sure our shoulder blades are pulled back nice and tight. We're squeezing the glutes on the way up. And our heel, big toe, little toe are on the ground. So our weight is through our whole foot. We're pushing the ground away from us using those glutes and our hamstrings. Great job, you guys. We're gonna go ahead and do 2 more. And last one. Great job. All right, up next, single leg lowering. So we're gonna lay on the ground. We're gonna be on our backs. We're gonna have our feet straight up in the air. Our low back is gonna be plastered into the ground here. And we're gonna alternate lowering one leg at a time as far as we can. Squeeze through the core and lift that leg back up. So we wanna make sure that we're not feeling these in our hips by pretending. So it will really help if we pretend we have an apple sitting right here. We're gonna crush that apple with our core every time we lift those legs up. It'll also help if you exhale as you bring your leg back up. This is a great way to really focus on your core here and not using those hip flexors. Great job, you guys. We're almost there. We're gonna go ahead and do 2 more on each side. And last one each leg. Awesome. Great job, everyone. We're gonna go ahead now and we're gonna do our toe touches. So again, you can either have 1 dumbbell, 2 dumbbells, or 0 dumbbells. We're doing 15 of these today. So I'm gonna grab my dumbbells. Still on the back, legs are still in the air. And we're going to exhale, bring our dumbbells or our hands towards our toes. We wanna make sure we're not using momentum here. We're still exhaling. As we come up, every time we exhale, it really engages our core here. So that's why we exhale with every ab or core movement that we do. We're really crushing that apple with our stomachs here. Great job, you guys. Three more. And last one. Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right, we're gonna go ahead. When we're done with those toe touches, we're gonna start right back at the top with our alternating overhead presses. Doing 1, arm at a time. So we're standing. Our dumbbells are just above our shoulders. And we're going to exhale, lift each arm over our head. So we want to exhale as we come up. And we're alternating, squeezing those shoulders. Great job, you guys. Making sure our core is still nice and tight. Do 10 on each side. Great job. 2 more each side. And last one. Perfect. When we're done with our 10 reps, moving on to the reverse lunges. So weights are at our sides here, pulling those shoulder blades back, keeping our pelvis tucked, core nice and tight. We're going to step back, squeeze the glutes, push the ground away from us. So in that front foot, heel, big toe, little toe, pushing through the ground, knees tracking past our second and third toes. So when we have our knee track out a little bit more, it's going to help engage our glutes a little more, which is what we want out of this movement. And we want to make sure that our chest and our center of mass is going to be directly above the arch of our front foot. Great job, you guys. 2 more on each leg. And last one each side. Wonderful. Great job. We're going to go ahead now and move to our bent over rows, alternating one arm at a time. So feet are shoulders apart. We're going to hinge at our hips like an RDL. And we're going to keep our shoulder blades nice and tight, pulling that dumbbell towards our belly button, back towards the glutes. So we want to make sure we're pulling through the lats and not the traps. So to help with that, we're really driving those hands towards the glutes. And we're also going to squeeze through your armpit. So if you kind of pretend like you got something in between your arm and your body, and you don't want it to fall down, we're going to squeeze that at the armpit there. And 2 more each side. And last one. Great job, you guys. Moving on, we got our kickstand RDLs up next. 10 on each side. We're planting one foot. Other foot is going to be in line with the arch of our working leg. So right now I'm using my left leg. Right foot is straight out to my side, not putting any pressure on that right foot. Pushing our glutes back, squeezing, coming up to standing. So I want to make sure that we're using those hips. We're coming back with the hips. Our knee is going to stay bent, but we're not bending at the knee. We're using our hips here. So we're pushing back as far as we can, keeping our heel, big toe, little toe on the ground. Keeping our back flat, using that core, keeping that everything nice and tight. Great job, you guys. Almost there. I'm going to go ahead and do 2 more. And last one. Perfect. So move into our other side here. So I'm going to use my right leg now. Left foot is lined up with the arch of my right foot. Keep that knee slightly bent, hips straight back, squeeze the glutes. So we're closing that door behind us, keeping everything nice and tight here. We want our knees to stay above the arch of our foot. We're squeezing those glutes, using those hamstrings. to come back to center. So we really want to make sure we're coming back far enough. If we're feeling this in our low back, that means we're not pushing the hips back far enough. We should only feel this in the hamstrings and the glutes. Two more here. And last one. Wonderful. Great job, you guys. We're going to go ahead and now make our way back to the ground. Starting off with our single leg lowering. So we're going to start with our feet in the air towards the ceiling. And we're going to alternate bringing each leg down, squeezing that apple, exhaling, bringing that foot back to center. It's really important here that we keep our low back plastered into the ground so that we're really using our entire pillar and our core. So we're using our back muscles, we're using our core muscles. We're working everything here. If you start to feel your low back come off the ground, then try and not have your feet come as far down. So if you feel your low back start to come off and your leg is only here, then go ahead and bring it right back up. Want to work with the range of motion we have while keeping our form spot on. We're going to go ahead and do one more on each leg. Awesome job, you guys. All right. So we're going to move on to our toe touches. So again, we can have 0 dumbbells, 1 dumbbell, or 2 dumbbells. Legs are still straight in the air, and we are going to exhale, bring the weight to our toes. Exhaling as we come up, crushing that apple with our core. We're doing 15 of these. Great job, you guys. Keep pushing. Two more here. And last one. Whew. Gets my core going. Great job, you guys. All right, so we only have time for about 2 more exercises. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna go ahead and start at the top. We're gonna do our alternating overhead presses and our reverse lunges, and then we'll go ahead and move into our cool down period. So starting at the top, alternating overhead presses. So we got our dumbbells here, starting right above our shoulders, and we are squeezing the shoulders and we're lifting our hands above our head. So we're gonna do 10 on each side, making sure our core is tight, our back is nice and flat. Squeezing those shoulders. Elbows are slightly in front of these shoulders here. We don't want them straight out to the side. We want to protect those shoulder joints. And we're going to go ahead and do 2 more on each side. And last one. Awesome. All right, last thing today, everyone, we are doing reverse lunges. So weights at our sides, alternating, stepping back. Doing 10 on each side. We got our heel, big toe, little toe, pushing the ground away from us. Whoops. In that front leg. Core is tight, back is flat. 2 more each leg. And last one each side. And that will be all we have time for the movement part. Great job, everyone. We're gonna go ahead and move into our cool down really quickly. So we're gonna make our way onto the ground. We're gonna do a half kneeling hip flexor to hamstring stretch. So we're gonna have one knee on the ground, one foot on the ground, half kneeling here. We're gonna tuck our pelvis, squeeze the glute of the knee of the leg that is on the ground. We're gonna push that pelvis forward a little bit. We're gonna start reaching up overhead, really feeling that stretch all in the front of our leg here, keeping that low back nice and flat. And on our next exhale, moving back, so we're putting our weight now on the knee that's on the ground, leaning forward, stretching out the hamstring of the foot that was on the ground. So that front leg now, we're stretching out that hamstring, toes straight in the air to really get a nice calf stretch there too. And we're gonna switch back to hip flexor. So squeeze the glute, tuck the pelvis, pushing everything forward, keeping that back nice and flat. Reach your arm overhead. And rock back into that hamstring stretch. Try and get our face as close to our knee as we can, feeling that stretch all through the back of our leg. And we're gonna go ahead and now move over to the other leg here. So opposite knee on the ground, opposite foot. So now my left leg's on the ground, right foot is on the ground. Same thing. So we're gonna tuck the pelvis, squeeze the glute of the knee that's on the ground, push those hips forward, reaching that hand overhead, feeling that stretch all through the front of our hip. On the quad a little bit.
We lost you. Are you there?
Oh, you can't hear me?
You're back.
Now I can.
Okay. Oh, that was weird. Okay, sorry guys. We're switching over to the other side. So we're doing the same thing, hip flexor, reaching up overhead, squeezing the glute, the knee that's on the ground. And we're gonna rock back into that hamstring stretch. So same thing, toes in the air. Try and get that face as close to the knee as you can. Breathing into any tightness here. And we're gonna go ahead and do this one more time. So hips forward, squeeze the glute of the knee that's on the ground, reaching that hand overhead. Feeling that whole stretch in the front of our hip here. And rocking back into that hamstring stretch. So toes up, try and get as close to the ground as we can here. And we're gonna go ahead and release from that. And you can either make your way to seated or standing, wherever you want to be when we end. But that will conclude today's total body strength class. Thank you all so much for coming. I love to see you all in here. The morning gang is back together. It's wonderful. Don't forget, today at 12 p.m. we have exercise with Excel. So
I'll show you.
there. Oh, you guys all have your cameras on. It's so nice to see everybody.
Good to see you, Betsy. Good
How
night.
are you? I miss you guys.
Hi.
Thanks, Jazzy.
Of
Thank
course, great